Will your pet go to the pound when you die? I sure hope not. But do you know the answer to that? I mean, do you really know the answer to this? This is what we're going to talk about on today's podcast. What happens to your pets when you die? You adopted your little pet. Precious. Got this little pet as a puppy, right? You raised it, cared for it, nurtured it. She's your best friend. You'll go on walks together, you play fetch, you have meals together, you feed it scraps. You enjoy it. You bring your pet joy, she brings you joy. But what happens if and when you die? Because at some point we all will die. So we want to make sure that our pets are taken care of. Well, there's a couple different scenarios. Scenario one, you do nothing. And no one steps up to be the caregiver. Maybe you don't have close friends or family. You don't have beneficiaries that like pets. And so no one just steps up. And that pet ends up going to the pound. That pet might get adopted, but that pet might not get adopted. And if the pet does not get adopted, you could imagine what that might possibly mean. But if the pet does get adopted, that's great. But you don't know that family. I mean, your pet is like a family member to you, but then getting adopted out by a family that you don't know. So you could do nothing and hope for the best. Hope that someone steps up, that your next door neighbor, your sister, your child, your mom, your uncle steps up and says, I really love this animal. I want to take this animal. That's great, but it might not happen. Scenario two, you build out provisions, clauses inside of your will or your trust to say what happens to your loved ones, meaning your pet or pets. We're going to say plural here. What happens to your pets when you pass away? And you can state on there, and this isn't exact language, I'm just giving you an idea of what to think about. You could say, for example, I want Buffy, right? Buffy was my first pet. I may have had one pet before that, but it bit my sister, was given to an astronaut, and the astronaut actually joked that he sent the dog into space and left it there. But the first dog that I remember is Buffy. Cute little white poodle. She was cute. I loved her. And you get Buffy, and you say in your will or your trust, and you say, I want to give Buffy to my son, Luke. Okay. But dogs cost money. So do cats, so do birds, so do turtles, whatever. Well, what kind of money? Well, you've got food, maybe housing, new blankets, new bedding. What about when you go on vacation? You need boarding. Boarding is not cheap. It is downright expensive, if you ask me. What about when the animal gets sick and needs a doctor? And then needs some prescriptions or some supplements or massage therapy or, red light therapy or whatever's going on with pets. And you may be thinking, right now, I would never give my dog massage therapy or my cat pet therapy or anything like that. And others are saying, yeah, that's exactly what I want to give to my dog, right? It doesn't matter. The point is they cost money if you want them to be cared for. How about dental work, right? They need dental work just like humans do. Maybe you do it, maybe you don't. But if you do it, that costs money. What about end-of-life care? Palliative care to keep them comfortable, or post-death care, right? What about all that? So it costs money. So if you just said, I give Buffy to so-and-so, but you don't give that person any extra money to care for the animal, then you have given the animal to someone who may not have the funds to properly care for your pets in the way that you would want to care for your pets. So you could also say, I want Buffy plus $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. Pick your number and think of inflation, right? Because this could be in 10 years and the inflation rate could be much different. So maybe you say, well, it costs me $1,000 a year per pet right now. Well, in 10 years, that might be $2,000 per pet or $3,000 per pet. And maybe you have more pets. And maybe the person you name as the desired caregiver isn't around. So who do you name as a backup? Maybe that person is around, but they've then gotten a dog, and that dog is Rocky the Rottweiler, and is not going to get along with Buffy the Poodle. So it's not a good fit. So, but potential caregiver number 2 says, not a good fit. I can't take the pets. Who's number 3, right? And does the executor or trustee have the discretion to do that? So you could say, here's my first preference for caregiver, my second, my third. And if none of those come through or fall through, then my executor or trustee should have full discretion to find a suitable caregiver and give blank amount of money per pet or on an inflation adjusted basis, or you can just overestimate what it might be. Right? The third way to do it is with a full-blown subtrust. So what this does is sets up inside of your will or in your trust or just a standalone trust. Normally we're doing them as a subtrust inside of a trust for the most part. And this is a more formal agreement and it's ongoing. So it says, for example, when I die, I want to set apart, pick a number, $100,000 for the care of my pets. And I want the caregiver to be blank. If she can't do it, then blank. If he can't do it, then blank. If they can't do it, then I want the trustee to find a suitable caregiver. And I want this $100,000 to be used for their ongoing care, their food, their travel, their boarding, their medical expenses, their dental work, their supplements, their prescriptions, all that good stuff. Oh, and bones. You got to have bones to throw for dogs. And so you leave that money, and then what happens when all your pets are gone? Well, then you have this money hopefully still left in trust, whatever's remaining. Maybe that $100,000 has grown with investments and it's worth $200,000. Maybe it's fallen because you pulled out money for the pet's care and it's only got 20 grand left into it. But what happens to that? Does it go to your normal residue of your will or trust, saying who it goes to, or does it go to a special different person, or does it all go to the caregiver at that point? Or does it go to a charity? Do you want to leave it to some kind of a humanitarian, pet organization? Do you want to leave it to your Christian church? What do you want to do with that money? So these are different options. But if you don't think about this, if you don't plan for it, then possibly, where did it go? Possibly you could end up with the worst case scenario. Your pet actually going to the pound and maybe not even getting adopted. So think through these things. This is the Lawyers Helping Podcast, brought to you by Mike Massey Law. And we are located in Texas, and we help thousands of people with wills, trusts, and estate planning for Texans. So book a free consultation to us to talk about your estate planning needs. See if we're a good fit for each other. We hope you have an incredible and blessed day.